Greetings, queens and kings. If you stopping by, welcome back to my channel, family. Ooh, Karen girl, you about to get effed around and find out. Do you hear me? If it was a picture of that statement, it would surely be you. Ooh, y'all, let's get into it. Now, we left off, you have our sisters here. Just had a meeting with one of Andy's clients, and Fatima is basically heartbroken. She listened to that woman's story and she was crying and pleading out, please let me know if you felt bad for our sis last week. And Andy doesn't want her to give up on Zach, because she says, you two give us hope, but she says, I'm not gonna be that lady. And I don't blame her. I'm not gonna sit up here in the future and have a man, my man still pawning over his ex. I love him, but it's a lot. I mean, we can all attest to the fact that within a year, in less than a year's time, Fatima went through a lot with Zach. But, she said, I'm done. So she basically asked for the ring because she wants to give it back to Zach. Now, in the meantime, when she leaves, she says, speaking of someone who don't like being alone, you girl, because here is this joker who's, Andy, you need to start representing a little bit better. We love you to death, but your character is a little too weak. You saying that you done with Gary. He comes back and says, well, you're not all that good in bed, and her feelings hurt. And she's like, oh, you just saying that. And then it's like a complete 360, like you didn't have a conversation with him. And he's telling you, well, I'll see you tonight. She was like, excuse me? Yeah, so we can talk about not having sex anymore. No one's going to ever take you serious. You have to stand up, Andy, and represent the sisters, to not be walked on and played with like some sex object. Now, whether it's both of you doing this, you got to be stronger than that. So she tells him, oh, I'm not going to be home. I got a meeting till 8. He was like, well, I'll see you at 9:30. And I'm like, really? He's not taking you serious because you never can take a stance. And this whole storyline with you two is getting real tired, and you making us look really bad. So, he knows he can toy with you. He doesn't believe anything you say about stopping this toxic relationship. And I hope this toxic storyline hurry up and wraps up, because it's not good. It's not setting a good tone for women. And you got to show a little bit more strength and respect for yourself. Love you more than you love this man, Andy. Come on, because you're going to get more of the same. So that was that. And I mean, he had her so bewildered. She was going out the wrong door, like can't even figure out which direction to go in. So be a little bit stronger, Andy, and really just deal better. You want to give advice, but you need to take it, sweetie. Now here we go with our girl Tamara getting up off her knees, pleasuring our boy Hayden. He's weak as always, weak in the knees. Men who think with the other head, not the right head. Right? Sorry, brothers, but hey. So yeah, this girl is twisting him every which way, but up. And now Gary like, oops, I'm finally getting to see wifey. So he's like, excuse me, and she's like, you are, and he's looking at me like, who am I? Like, you don't know the great Gary? But he gave her name, and he was like, I'll see you home, Hayden. And Gary, of course, like, see you home, Hayden. Like, get rid of this girl. Get rid of her. Get this annulment. Hayden, like, I know what to do. But Hayden, you is blinded. This girl got you sprung. You ain't trying to hear it. But Gary said the paperwork is all good. She did something in high school or whatever. I'm like, oh, he really, I don't know who was in your investigations, doing your investigations, but they didn't do a good job, because there's a lot you have not found out about this sister. So he really think that Hayden is really a clown right now. And he's like, you just need to be done with her. And they going back and forth like, yeah, I know. Just hurry and get this annulment. I don't know what's going to go down. I don't know if Hayden is getting this annulment. What do you think? Put in the comments. Now the scene of the evening, outside of the ending. But here we go. And I want to say this about men and women and why I was so upset with Zach. What you have to understand, men, is if you are done with a woman that's your ex and you trying to handle her, because we know Zach he explained to Fatima the feeling of a loss. But when you start playing and reminiscing and meeting with her after she done seen how you pawned over her, and when you thought she was dead, and you want to reminisce about when we first met, this is the coffee shop that we had, you start tugging away and giving hope. Bad enough you already said you love her. So now Karen thinking that there's hope between the two of you. And she talked about how it was raining that day and we were up on the rooftop, and he said yeah, and how he was nervous, he wanted to impress her. I guess he think he couldn't pull her for a guy like him. And she said yeah, that's when I fell in love with you. So now all of this holding her hand is bringing her to a place where she's happy with. When you know a woman is in love with you, you can't do stuff like this, Zach. You have to be stern. You can let her know you care, but you can't be so soft and subtle. That type of attention should be for your woman only. And so this is why you gave her hope. At the same time, if a man explains to you, like Zach did, Karen, that he loves you but not in love, you can't say, well, how much love? Do you love me more than you love her? And all of this. No, it's not the same. And that's what he explained to her. I can still love you, respect you, and care for my child and still care for you if, we're not together. Respect the boundaries, Karen. And that's something that you don't want to do right now. You want Zach, and that's all she's hearing. And she told him, I want you to make love to me. I want to feel you inside of me and all this. And I'm like, yo, Karen, stop. You are very delusional. The man don't want you. She can't take no for an answer. The problem is when a man tries to change for the better, women have to learn to respect that. Sometimes people don't want you to change for the better. They want you to stay in that same toxic way that you was when you was with them. Even though you had good moments, that's not enough to sustain the relationship. And this is what Karen can't understand. So ladies, please with this, let things go when it's already ran its course. I know it hurts that a man tells you he's in love with someone else. He's not going to her house. He's not going to make love to her. She's not trying to hear that. I'm going to leave the door open for you because you no longer have the key. Listen to what someone tells you. You are so, he can be nice to you. Yes, he thought you was dead. Now it's getting to your head, the reaction everyone is saying that he had over you. But at the same token, he explained, times have changed. And she doesn't want to hear that. But when a person tells you who they are, if they tell you the situation is how it is, please believe them. Please respect your boundaries before you get even more hurt. You should have left it, let sleeping dogs lie, regardless of how nice he was. Be happy that maybe your son's father or daughter's father is going to be respectful and nice and courteous to you and still care about you and even take care of your shop. That doesn't mean he has to be in a relationship with you. And that's where those things get crossed. And that's why you have to, Zach said you're going to let the wrong person in your house. She was like, no. Oh, boo, you about to let the wrong person in your house. Yeah. So, Zach, you have to draw the line in how you handle Karen because she's not going to see it the way you want her to see it, as we obviously saw last week. Zach just don't get women. He doesn't know how to handle women. He hasn't had anyone to guide him in that, and he has a lot to learn on differentiating the two. Now, here we go. Our girl, this was my happy moment of the night. Our boy looking, like white chocolate. Preston waiting, a man cooking, got his shirt off, nice body. Danny was like, oh, this is nice to come home to. She don't have to worry about no weirdo stalking her in her house. And he was like, I'm still here. I want to make sure you're safe. So Danny had to break those barriers down. I guess she really thought about their last moment together and the words he said and said, I'll give this relationship thing a serious try. So I'm like, yes, break them walls down. Danny, I was so happy. And of course, our brother Preston was too. And he was like, okay, we can do that. And one of the things she said is that don't bring Mindy back up. She was trying to respect this woman and the fact that he was with her, proposed to her, even though Danny was first, but she still didn't want to see another woman hurt. But he says it's a done deal. I mean, we know Maggie wasn't going to last. Old girl went back to Wisconsin or whatever. So he's like, okay, we're going to celebrate. And, damn this food that I cooked. We going to go out, have a nice time. She was like, oh, okay, where you taking me? Going to have nice utensils because I'm going to get cute. He was like, oh, yeah. The grin on Preston's face, he was on cloud nine. So I'm praying for President Danny. Danny has always been there for her girls and they crazy relationships, but she's never had a good, solid, serious one with a good man herself. So I'm really rooting for her. Out of all of them, she may have the healthiest relationship. Ain't that funny? Look how the tables turn. So she getting ready to get all cute and go out with her man to celebrate the start of their new relationship. So please, please, please let it continue to work. Look at our brother. He's so happy. Now, here you have Sabrina coming by to see Calvin and Maurice. And, Calvin calls him out to let him know she tried with Q. She tried to tell him. But Maurice like, you wasting your damn time. You wasting your time with him. And she said, you right. I did. He's not budging. It's an unfortunate situation. But I'm hoping there's a nice bone in his body that will, make him think differently. I thought she got to him. I don't know. Maybe it takes some time. Something will happen. But she did pierce something, some form of humanity when she did speak to him. But Maurice is like, I'm done. Something has to be done with this man. Our life is on the line. And Maurice is just at the point now where, if he can't scare Q into doing the right thing, the bottom line is he's going to do something. Whether he jumps bail or get someone to hurt get someone to hurt Q, Maurice is going to try something. So they were a little afraid that he may be suicidal, but he was like, oh, you don't got to worry about that. I am not going to kill myself. So they get a call from Andy, of course, to go see Karen. Because, the girls got to rally the troops and deal with this whole situation, probably with Zach. And she calls up Danny. Danny, like, getting ready to go on her date, but she like, okay, we're going to go over there. Hopefully Karen tell us who the baby daddy is. Now, Q is leaving the airport. Maurice confronts him and basically tries to tell him, I'm coming after you. And then he sees that there's a woman in the car. He tries to tell the woman, you better watch him. What you doing with him? Because he's going to steal everything you got. And Q ain't trying to hear that. But Maurice, the nut that he is trying to warn her. Now, old girl, she might be a girl from the streets. One of his homegirls that really don't care about none he's saying. They probably go robbing together. Who knows? And Maurice is fool hanging on the car like he crazy. Now, here we go. Zach is coming in and he talks to Fatima. This is the conversation that should have happened before she said she was done. So she's there. She's thinking because she loves him. She doesn't want to get rid of Zach, but she's hurt. It's a lot. It's a complicated situation. And he goes on to explain to her what happened, that he did have a conversation with Karen. And he tried to explain that, Fatima, I never lost anybody before. I know you're scared. I still love you. None of that's changed. I think she needed that assurity, but the loss in his life was very detrimental. I may have handled it wrong, but I'm sorry. It's nothing changed about me wanting to spend my life with you. And we had a talk, and I told her just that I am in love with you. Of course, she ain't tried to hear it. She said that, she wanted, me to make love to her or whatever, and that she want me to come over tonight. Now, Fatima was livid. She did not want to hear that, but he was honest enough to tell her, so she has to respect that. It's painful and it's bad that another woman would try to hurt you in that way and not respect your relationship. So now she wants Tima to come out and blow up. Some people bring out the worst in you. You try to be good and respectful, but they bring you out of your old ways that you're trying to suppress. So she let him know that, she believed him, that she loves him too, and they had that heart-to-heart talk, and I'm glad she, believed what he had to say, and I'm glad he was honest enough to tell her the conversation that him and Karen shared, even the disrespectful comment that she made about him coming over. Then he asked her about the ring, and she said it. Oh, can you put it on for me? He was like, no, because I didn't take it off. And I agreed with him. You put it back on because you took it off. And she put it back on, and of course, they made happy makeup. But don't think that old girl is forgetting what he said. So now here this fool go, thinking that she got Zach wrapped around her finger, like he really going to disrespect Fatima for her. So the girl's trying to talk to her. She really don't want to hear nothing they got to say. Like, what y'all doing here? Zach is coming over, and, we going to have sex, and it's time for y'all to go. And they looking like, what? Are you for real? Like, we came over here to see about you, and this is what you saying? They frustrated. I don't blame Danny. She could be at the restaurant with her man. So Danny, like, did Zach really say that? That he was coming over? And Fatima said, yeah, well, Danny like, oh, hell. Her and Andy is scared as hell because Andy already know Fatima. She was like, yeah, that's what I want to know. And so it's on and popping. If F around and find out look like a person, it looked like you, Karen. So we are going to get into this episode. I think the finale is coming up soon on the confrontation between Karen and Fatima. Until next time, family, stay blessed. Peace.